One of the passengers injured in Sunday's crash of an Amtrak passenger train sued both Amtrak and Conrail today for $101 million. Safety investigators continue to hear conflicting stories about the events which led up to the disaster which killed 15 people. Authorities haven't ruled out anything, but they are looking more and more closely at the possibility of human error. Here's Bettina Gregory.
Trains started running today, but at nothing near the 100-mile-an-hour speed the Amtrak passenger train was going when it slammed into the rear of the Conrail freight train. So the investigation is focusing on the signals both trains received. The engineer of the Conrail train admits he ran through this signal which told him to stop. He said he tried to brake but couldn't stop his train in time to stay on the siding because he says until then he was given no signal to stop. So a key question becomes what happened at this earlier signal 2 miles back down the track. The Conrail engineer says he got this signal, which told him to slow down to 45 miles per hour, but didn't indicate a stop coming up. The signal operator said he gave this signal, which indicates slow down to 30 miles per hour and be prepared to stop at the next signal. The Amtrak train got the clear signal since he had the right of way. Amtrak issued a statement today saying they had checked out the signals on the Conrail tracks and they were all functioning properly at the time of the accident. There's also a device inside the cab of the Conrail and other locomotives which repeats the signals.
That display is made in order to give the crew the same information that exists on the overhead signals.
There's an automatic braking system too, but trains need a long distance to stop. While authorities haven't ruled out a mechanical defect, several have said it appears unlikely. So even a sophisticated system of signals and automatic train braking equipment isn't enough to prevent an accident caused by human error. Bettina Gregory, ABC News, Chase, Maryland.
From travel on the rails to travel by bus, or what is left of it. In 1982, federal deregulation of long-distance bus service left the bus companies free to cancel service on unprofitable routes. And that is exactly what has happened. Nearly 4,000 towns all across America have lost their last bus service. In almost all cases, it is their last public transportation from place to place. Most of the towns affected are small, towns with fewer than 10,000 people. For those who live there, the loss of bus service hurts badly. ABC's Bill Blakemore is on special assignment.
A part of America is disappearing in many places. Bus service to small towns, many of them once frontier towns. We rode one route which is on the verge of being canceled to see what's being lost, who will lose. Trailways makes this 7-hour run each way every day between Little Rock, Arkansas and Joplin, Missouri.
Joplin to Atlanta. Joplin to Atlanta. Atlanta to Macon.
The Joplin depot still services 26 buses a day in all directions, but that's down from 42 buses a day 2 years ago. Owner Lauren Chester says he'll sell his terminal to the first taker now that he's about to lose another of the routes he knows by heart.
Now loading for Dunawig, Sarcoxy, Wentworth, Pierce City, Monette, Purdy, Passville.
First stop out of town, we could see the bus company's problem.
But this is just a little town. It ain't very big, but we got 2 or 3 a month.
The tiny town square of Sarcoxy, where driver Charlie Leeming most often finds no one and moves on. But there are always some passengers who count on it, we found, as the modern stagecoach moved in easy stages from town to town, stopping every 10 or 20 minutes.
Well, I definitely wouldn't have been able to afford no airfare, that's for sure.
Lane Coyote, traveling with his father James Coyote, was going from Kansas to Florida to his fiancée and a new job.
Here I can look out, gaze out the window, take a quick nap, talk with somebody, smoke a cigarette, just enjoy the ride.
Ellen Farrell goes once a year to her nieces in Texas, but without the bus.
I won't be able to make the trip anymore, and I sure hate it, because I depend on this bus to go. The bus drivers is always nice and kind.
Charlie Leeming knows the turns in this route like the back of his hands.
It's going to put me out of a job. I've been with them 10 years, but I won't have a job.
The plumbing store is the bus stop in Monette, Missouri, destination and hometown of Alberta Dill.
Well, it would make a hardship on me. It would all of our older people here in Monette, because we get lonely. We can get on the bus and go visit our children.
Last month in Monette, a state hearing reviewed Trailway's request to abandon this route.
I know we lost $148,000 on this route in the last 12 months. The law states that if we lose money, we don't have to stay in operation.
It doesn't warrant a private company subsidizing itself either through equity or however it has to do it to make the service available.
It'd be a big disappointment to me and inconvenience.
A few insisted they do need the bus service, including the handicapped. But just after Christmas, Trailways was given permission to cancel the Missouri portion of the route. Also missed will be the same-day package service a bus gives for emergency parts, blood supply, newspapers, gifts, and, as we saw when we came down into the quiet Ozark town of Green Forest, Arkansas, fresh flowers. The flower shop owner, who doubles as the bus agent, can make a phone call at noon and have the flowers by 4.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Okay.
The townspeople along this route, descendants of pioneers, have already seen their railroads disappear. Some 20 years since hellos and goodbyes were last said in these old buildings, before rail traffic ran into competition from roadway travel and commuter airfares. Now, they're saying goodbye again.
This is the last call for Little Rock, Arkansas at the end of the building on dock number 2.
Bill Blakemore, ABC News, on Route 65 in Arkansas.
In tonight's Other Money Matters, some encouraging news from the Postal Service. After losing $250 million in 1985, last year the Post Office made a profit. The Postmaster General says that his department is $300 million in the black, and stamps will not go up in price during 1987. On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrials gained 3.5 points today to close at another record high, and the trading was heavy. When we come back, ships in the Persian Gulf, new precautions for self-defense. Last night we reported on an American military helicopter which was fired on while patrolling in the war zone of the Persian Gulf. The missile was fired from a merchant ship, which has not yet been publicly identified. The incident does shed some light on what merchant ships feel they must do in an area where Iraqi and Iranian aircraft are an ever-present threat. ABC's Barry Dunsmore in London has more.
Oil tankers and cargo ships have been a major target for both sides in the Iran-Iraq war. At least 200 ships have been hit, more than 60 in the past year. For tankers, insurance premiums can exceed $10 million a voyage. And so, to protect themselves and reduce their insurance costs, some tankers are taking special precautions. Those chartered by Iran certainly are. This is one of 4 such charters recently fitted out with what are called passive protective measures. They do not carry missiles. However, the superstructure of the tanker is painted with a special substance designed to reduce its radar profile. It also has on its decks special radar reflectors designed to confuse incoming missiles. This work has been top secret because any assistance to Iran is politically sensitive. The work was conducted by a British firm called Defense Analysis Limited, whose head, Commander Sharkey Ward, was a Harrier pilot during the Falklands War.
And as far as I'm concerned, I'm dealing with shipping companies plying an honest trade. And they could be British, American, Greek. It doesn't matter. As I said, we're not interested in politics, and we try to keep out of it.
The sinking of the British ship Sheffield by an Exocet missile during the Falklands War showed how vulnerable ships were to modern missiles. Now, some of the defensive expertise gathered in that war is for sale in the Persian Gulf. Barry Dunsmore, ABC News.
News of the Soviet Union today. First, was it a hint or just another speech? The Soviet Foreign Minister Eduard Shevardnadze said in Afghanistan last night that a meaningful ceasefire could mean that Soviet troops would be withdrawn from the country. There wasn't much more in the speech, but senior analysts at the State Department who watch Afghanistan very closely believe the pace of Soviet efforts to reach some kind of diplomatic settlement in Afghanistan is picking up. And there was some news today about the Soviet campaign against illegal drugs. The Soviets announced that as the result of one operation, more than 4,000 people were arrested and thousands of acres of marijuana and poppy plants used for opium or heroin were destroyed. We're also told that the number of Soviet drug addicts has increased to 46,000. The Soviets say that's an 18-fold increase in 2 years. When we come back, a centennial toast to one of the world's great detectives.